Welcome back to Let's Talk Race and Model. I'm your host, Harrison Paul. Today we're going to talk about Councillor Yemi. She's the Irish councillor. She's running for Fine Gael. She went through a very, very disrespectful moment this week where her placards, about 30 of them, she said, were torn down. I'm going to read you the post that she posted on Instagram. It read, "Go low, we go high. Team Yemi has been busy. This time, not canvassing, but picking up many of the posters that have been cut down from the poles or pulled out of the ground they were hammered into. Since the local election was called, hundreds of posters have gone up on the polls. Many candidates across the country have had the sad experience of having their posters vandalized, cut down from polls, or completely taken, and it seems to be worse than 2019. Over the last few weeks, I have received calls from concerned Navan residents and fellow candidates informing me that my posters, regular and big, were found on grass by the side of the road and even in the middle of the road, about to cause an accident. We keep picking them up as we get the calls, but the concern now is that many of my posters have gone missing. That is a problem. Right now I'm missing over 30 posters, regular and big, that have been taken, and I have no idea where they are or who took them. The day the local election was called, Johnstown requested that candidates do not put up posters in the Metcalfe Road, Bothasion areas of Johnstown. It's Irish, sorry for my butched Irish. Responded swiftly, and we took all our posters down in those areas. You can therefore imagine my shock and surprise when we suddenly found one of my posters back up on a pole, Medcus Road, 2 weeks later. Someone or some people who have been missing posters did that intentionally. Now I feel strongly that they may do the same all over Navan after the elections. These people who have my missing posters in their possession may maliciously put the posters back up on the poles after the 7 days when posters are meant to be taken down after election. I have reported this to the Garda and to Mead Co. May I humbly appeal to you, if you live in Navan, that if you see any posters of mine 7 days after the election, please let me know, and my team and I will take them down right away. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate your kind support so far." Right. This has taken place. But I also want to touch on the Diane Abbott and what she's been receiving over in the UK. Diane Abbott is the first black MP who has done so much and been a trailblazer for black women and been a very honest voice for black people. A lot of black people or black and brown people getting in positions and they sell us out, really, to be quite frank. They sell us out and they say what they think people want to hear and they do what people want to be done, and they don't stay true to the real issues that we face and use their platform to bring up the uncomfortable topics that we really shout about at the grassroots. But my main point that I wanted to stress is when we look over at Councillor Yemi and we look over at Diane Abbott and we watch how black women are being treated in, trying to move into government, right? The only thing I kept thinking to myself is, it makes me so sick that my generation do not understand the importance and the significance of the political state of a country, the political state of England, the political state of Ireland. This is a representation of the world that we live in. Everything that we care about, everything that is involved in our life. If you have kids, they're going to go to school. If you get sick, you go to the doctor, you go to the dentist. If everything, all the major institutions, everything that makes this quote unquote Western world go around. The boss you serve at work, the significance of what the country looks like politically. And when I say that in this case, I mean, how seriously do they take the disrespect of black people? If Sir Keir Starmer, who is the Labour Party leader, understands that in this moment in time, in order for him to probably make legendary 15 years a victory to become the leader of the government, and Labour haven't won it for 15 years, and he understands that, okay, in order to please the greater public, in order to please the people who run the police stations, the people who run the hospitals, people who run the healthcare systems, people who run the Board of Education, people who run the major institutions, in order for them to feel like, okay, for him to feel like I want their vote, he understands that disrespecting Diane Abbott is going to achieve that for him. He's going to understand that throwing her to the wayside will put a good stamp, and of course, everyone in between, which is everyday people. And then we go over here to Ireland, which we have not even yet arrived at a place where we have a Diane Abbott and everything that she's done over the years. We're still trying to break through that door. And I just think of the disrespect that she has to normalize. I felt so much normality, so much. Yeah, this is what happens when you're a black woman running for office. And if I'm being very honest with you, do I think that she'll win? Not because I don't think that she's capable, not because I don't think that she should believe in herself, but I think Ireland especially is so naive to the political state, to the structural state, and willfully naive that we have not yet arrived even at that place. I'm going to put a link in the description for you guys to go and watch it. The video is called Labour in Crisis over Diane Abbott Mistreatment Scandal. And it's a good video because what happens is that this guy breaks down Diane Abbott's history and her legendary history in the Labour Party. And as I've been doing what I do, and as I've been studying political movements in Ireland or in England, I can't help but always be reminded, or that's what I'm doing it for, that, wow, how long till we even arrive there? We think of a black president. How long till we arrive there? We think of black TDs, MPs. How long till we arrive there? There are even things that have taken place in America or in England that black people fought for to arrive at that place. And then you ask yourself the question is, how long till we arrive there? Why is that important? Because that will be a reflection of what world we live in, what world our children grows up in. I know black people don't like the concept of, oh, listen, you can achieve anything you want to achieve. And don't think or feel sorry for yourself, as some would say. But then I ask myself the question, if the high government, the main government in the UK, which is further along than Ireland, understands that as he is trying to push further towards winning his first election in 15 years, the Labour Party, he's going to have to disrespect a black woman. That begs the question of, can a black person get into parliament and be honest to the issues that black people face? Better question, can a black person, woman or man, get into parliament in Ireland, never mind in the UK, and be honest? This will reflect on how teachers treat our black children. This will reflect on the fact black women are 4 times more likely to die from childbirth from a lack of care in hospitals. This will reflect in every other category of life. And it frustrates me when I watch the Jewish people who will not let you get the word anti-Semitism not even out of your mouth before they are on you. I like to use football terms. Think of Manchester's amazing defending. When they attack together. When they defend, they are compact. And they chase the ball together. And I was telling a brother today, I was like, think of the black defense right now. That there are just gaps everywhere. We do not know how to clench in together and create this wall where nobody can disrespect us or penetrate us. This is what the Jewish people have. And like the sport of football, you're only good as much goals you cannot concede. So you can score 5 goals. But if you can concede another 5 or another 7, you lose the match at the end of the day. And I feel black people are thinking, if we score enough goals, if we score 10 goals this match, forgetting that if you concede another 20, you still lose the match. And that concept of having self-respect and dignity and having a good wall at the back and a defense and a self-determination and a self-respect and a dignity and a standard that we stand on. Not, oh, I don't focus on it. I don't know. That's not what the Jewish man is saying. He's having a standard of anti-Semitism, and if you go below that, he doesn't say, I just focus on me. You pay for that. There's another woman right now. Her name is Faiza Shaheen. And she's also been kicked from the party for tweets that she did 15 years ago. And black people don't take credit for the work African Americans doing because, yes, African American people are getting people fired for tweets that happened 5 years ago. African American people, that is, again, how I mentioned, I brag about them, African Americans. Very politically inclined. And then we just eat off the remnants. We eat off the scraps of all the fighting they've been doing over there. And what are we doing? We have Councillor Yemi's posters being torn down. And guess what? It's not the end of the world. We're looking at them like, Yemi, didn't you know? Like, they're nice to us, Yemi, but like, they're not going to, come on, I let you have a position of authority. That's not, we're not there yet. But it's nice to see you try. So what does that mean then? Does that not mean there's a cap on how far an Irish boy can go in Ireland? If we have not created an environment where he has just as much as an opportunity to become the president of Trinity College or become a TD? If you still know that you feel when you look at someone like Councillor Yemi and you doubt how could that work? It's nice to see someone believe, but how could that work? And it's not because you've not thought about her ability or her capacity. You just merely thought about, I wonder how accepting. And I'm not talking about the accepting where someone can be nice to you at the coffee shop or at Tesco when they see you doing the shopping and ask you how the kids are. I'm talking about somebody being very okay with you holding an authoritative position over them. Meaning you dictate. You make decisions on their behalf. And while we are still compromised on what standard we want, on what we want to have, we will forever have low standards and then find solace in this tiny little world that we've created for ourselves as black people. Wow. In one hand, we are saying we are Irish. And we like to believe it, and we say it, and we laugh with our Irish friends. But when it matters, you understand, no, we've not arrived there yet. Chill. But how can you parade being Irish and in the next moment be very okay with the limits that Ireland has put on you as a black person, or how far you can go, or what positions you are entitled to within Ireland? And I also bring the UK in this because I'm just thinking of these two black women who are fighting. And if I'm going to be honest, I'm going to give my opinion on Councillor Yemi. I've been following her for quite some time. Yeah, I do not feel from her movement that she has dedicated to be the voice of black people. And quite frankly, I don't blame her. I don't think her campaign will go down well if she posed to be the Diane Abbott of Ireland. I don't think we're even arrived at that space yet. I don't think even we are demanding that of a politician within Ireland, that someone speak on our behalf, that someone say the true things. So I don't know whether to blame her for not being that voice or blame ourselves for not demanding that from her. And I just want us to understand, brothers and sisters, and I'll say this before I sign off. We have to grow up. We've got to grow up and understand that this, when you close your eyes and you pretend life is colorblind and you pretend it has no effect on what way school is structured for your children, what way hospitals are structured when there's emergencies and there's people who are actually going through near-death situations. And just because you've not gone through that, you don't care. Because you have 5 friends at work and 5 friends in the pub who you can get on. Long as everything stays superficial, surface-based, you think we have arrived at the place our forefathers fought for. You think we have arrived at the place that they have made you and forced you to confess that we've arrived at. This inclusive, this honest, this non-racist, this everyone has an equal opportunity. When you know that's a lie. When you look at someone like Councillor Yemi, I'll put a picture up on the screen right now, you know she has less of a chance than a white male politician in Ireland. So answer me today, brothers and sisters. Why do we pretend? Why do we pretend we're further than we actually are? Is it soothing? Is it gotten too tiring to fight? Is it gotten too tiring to be honest? Why do we lie to ourselves that it doesn't make a difference? That changing these things won't make a difference? That changing the face and the structure won't make a difference? Do you not see America? Do you not see black children in higher places able to affect how life operates for black people there? When you study it how I study it, you're not just focusing on American rap music. No, actually. You're watching how there's a black mayor in a lot of cities. You're watching what bills they put into place to protect black people. You're watching what major decisions they did to safeguard for black people, the mental health of black people, the self-determination of black people, the identity of black people. To remind the country in which they live, whether it be America, for us it's Ireland, that you do owe us something. That they can make sure that history is told truthfully and honestly. Because we know that when history is taught in the school, it shapes the mind of the children. And the children grow up and that becomes the world that we live in. That becomes your next doctor. That becomes your next school teacher. And the next school teacher now was taught when she was in school all the great things Africa offered to Ireland. She's not void of it. So what happens then? She treats the African kids. She sets a culture not of tolerance, not of niceness, but of respect and understanding. Of real allyship to the African and the value of the African. Not this favor, this troker favor. No, the explanation of Jamaica and why all the Irish African kids there in Jamaica have Irish names. That it wasn't lovers who met. If that was the case, there would be a bunch of Irish people with African names. Why is it only that we took the Irish names? Because we were owned by Irish. We will talk about how Zimbabwe was filled with Irish. Till this day, Irish places, Irish names. This will shape the world we live in. This will shape the numbers in the hospitals and the disparity. This will shape how black kids feel about themselves. They won't have to lose themselves trying to become something or be someone for Irish people when they know there's a culture of Irish people, or rather African kids, being respected the same way we're building a culture of honoring a Palestinian. It's the same way that's an historical trickle down. We've always stood by Palestine. Well, we need this. We've always made our children aware of the honest history of how much Ireland really benefits from the exploitation, the modern day exploitation, the modern day colonialism the EU does towards Africa. I could go in all day, but it just makes me understand that I really wish people my age thought on this capacity, thought on this scale, not just Harrison, man, I'm having fun with some girls and some guys and some drink. Look at the political state. Look at the fact that Diane Abbott is being tossed like the wind because Sir Keir Starmer understands that is what the people want in order for me to get into power. And we can't even say the same for Councillor Yemi. Unfortunately, she's not even there. We've not arrived there yet. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
And I'm on a mission for you.